Good evening, fam. It's your friend, your brother. My name is Oshifes Oluwadamilare. I'm a mechanic. Welcome to Exxon F1, also known as from Lawon, Colum, Africa. Nice talking to you guys today. So, quickly, let's get to the news for the week. After the Imola cancellation, in which, for me, they said the Imola race will be shifted forward, I think the Imola race has been cancelled. It should remain cancelled. It should just remain cancelled. Let's look up to what is next for the year, and hope the people of Imola are able to come through it with the aid and the support to take time for them to come back up, to get through what they've gone through. We wish them well, and we hope they're able to come by very soon and as soon as possible. For the first information today, Aston Martin cutting a deal with Honda. I think it's a good news and it's a good deal. You know, I talked about McLaren cutting a deal with Red Bull some time ago. I said it's a bad deal. It's not a good deal for them. It's going to frustrate them. The deal that is going to put them possibly in obscurity, because it's a team that has a fierce competitively. They are trying to win every race, win everything. So they will go all out, do everything to make sure they win. So it might be a very bad decision for McLaren, but I think it's a good decision for Honda if they are ditching Mercedes. This season has shown that they have a very good design, a very good car, and Mercedes is the team they should team up with. If Mercedes as a team cannot give them any challenge and they're not trying to sabotage them, which is good for them. So if they are going to with Honda, I think it's a good deal also, because Honda has history with Red Bull. Honda came back to F1 to Red Bull majorly, and they were able to work out a long year deal. Like, I think it was a 3 or 4 year deal before Red Bull decided to pull out of the program and say, hey, hold on, Honda, we don't know how to do our engine. Maybe they do our engine ourselves. I knew then that Honda were not happy. That was 2020, but they were able to last to 2021, and after 2021, Red Bull powertrain have been doing their bit with the Honda powertrain, and now they've merged heads with Ford powertrains for the electrical part and some other things. I think Aston Martin going in that direction might be a good direction for them to go, because it's a team that has length and a team that is coming in competition with Red Bull, which will give Red Bull a run for their money. And Honda coming back to F1 is a good thing for them. It's a win-win. But now, the major happenings on the grid, the major change on the grid, the major expectation and major blow up on the grid is the Mercedes W14. Should we call it B or upgrade? Oh, Gbeleo. You know, sometimes you look at some things and you laugh. And you know, yeah, it's worth it, but let's see what it does. Quick one on the Mercedes upgrade. We've expected it, and like I said, majorly, those are the things I said Mercedes need to bring to upgrade their car and to make their car more competitive. And if Mercedes are to make their car competitive, like the W13 and W14 is a slim-sided car, edge, different curves, and they are not two good cars. And I said it last year, and I've said it again this year, that the only reason why Mercedes are not getting the best out of that design is not because it's a zero-pod design or the sides are slim. They don't have the right floor to complement, and the right front, that is the front suspension, the front wings, and the side, the right floors to complement that side design. That's why they are losing time. They are losing on the straight, they are losing on the side, and that's why they're having a lot of imbalances, especially their car dancing on corners. Now, with this design, we think and we hope that they will be able to perform very well, because they brought new side pods. There's complete new engine cover, new floor, and the new front suspension, which I've clamored for. The front suspension was revised in Baku, but that is not the solution. They need to bring a right one that will give them the right airflow. Now, this one that they brought, will it be able to align with the engine cover that they have and the floor they have? Will the engine cover, which includes the side pods design, will this engine cover incorporated with the side pods be able to complement with the floor they brought? That is another challenge they will be facing. So for me, I don't expect them to be competitive, and it's a nice thing that they are bringing these updates to Monaco, because they missed Imola. A lot of teams like Aston Martin, McLaren, and Ferrari, they had upgrades for Imola, but they are bringing the upgrade in Spain next week. For them, it's a good decision, because they know what they are doing. But for Mercedes, they have nothing to lose. It's all or nothing. They want to put everything, learn everything they need to learn with this new design to keep growing and to get a better 2024 car. So it's all or nothing for them. Whatever they are bringing in, they'll keep winning with that. So I think it's a good decision for them bringing these things. But like I said, will these parts complement each other? That is what we are left to see. Knowing that Monte Carlo Monaco is not a place for upgrade to be brought. That's why all other teams are bringing beats. Like Ferrari are bringing beats, McLaren brought beats, Aston Martin brought beats, but their major upgrades are coming in Spain. They want to ruffle it through it all and make sure they learn from their mistakes and see what they can gain from it. So if the W14 upgrade, don't let me call it B, if W14 upgrade is able to challenge in Monaco, that does not mean the W14 is a good car. Remember, there was a time I said Lewis Hamilton complained about his sitting position, that is too forward in the car. That cannot be done this year. They will need to make that changes in the W15 that they are bringing next year. So which means they still have a lot of things to do. Then the jiggling of the car, I think the sitting position, the load balance in the car would affect that. So they will need to see what they can do with that on the W15. But with this upgrade that they've brought, we are looking at how they can learn, what they can do, and how they can build on from there to get a better car. Now, what does the W14 upgrade look like? Some people say it looks like a Red Bull, but no, that car does not look like a Red Bull. That car looks like possibly looks like it looks like a Williams. It looks like more like a Williams than an Alpine. That car looks more like a Williams than an Alpine. The chamfered top of the air intake for the radiators looks a little bit forward up, while the lower part is much more pronounced. Meanwhile, on the Red Bull, the upper part is deeper while the lower part is more pronounced. So it doesn't look like a Red Bull. The side too does not look like a Red Bull. Well, in short, when you're looking at the car from the top, you think you're looking at a Haas, possibly the Haas car, possibly, but that car looks from in front like a Williams. Then the suspension has been really changed. So I want to see how that suspension will work with the body. Really, I want to see how it will work with that. And that being said, that's the new direction the Mercedes are going to. Let's see what we can get on that and how they can be competitive. But that aside, Lewis Hamilton has been, during the week, he has been speculated to be moving to either McLaren or Ferrari. But during the presser today, the F1 presser, he was able to say that they are working on the finalization of his contract. He does not want to be doing that again. He has been doing that, and which I have known Lewis Hamilton will be staying in Mercedes till he wins his 8th and possibly 9th championship. So I think he'll be staying with Mercedes. He's not going anywhere. Those are speculations. Clearly, they're speculations. And people are like, oh, he was waiting for the W14 upgrade to see if he will still stay. Lewis Hamilton would not be looking at that before he decides. Lewis Hamilton looks like a shareholder in that Mercedes AMG F1. I believe if he stops driving, he will still come back to take the role of Niki Lauda. I think he might be taking the position or a role that Niki Lauda left. So that is what I think he will be doing, because the speculations were really high when Charles Leclerc was asked the question that, what about the speculations? What does he think? I believe Lewis will be staying with Mercedes for the next 4 or so years or 5 years. I think he will be staying. He will still be driving for the next 5 years or thereabout, because that guy is still in the top form. Though age might not be on his side, we can see what happened to him while driving the W13, the troublesome, bouncy, flinging W13 last year, how it really affected his health and how he was unable to cope with that car until they were able to stop some part of the bouncing when F1 stepped in to tell them they should race the car and do some things thereabout. So I believe he's going to sign a new contract. It might be an extension, maybe 2 or 3 years, and extend it again. But Lewis Hamilton certainly is staying in Mercedes, 100%. And it's going to be a good Monaco GP, I believe. And through this, you are going to listen to the Practice 1 and Practice 2. This is going to be a very long video. The Practice 1 and Practice 2 will be coming next. Please subscribe, like, share, we beg you, comment. We want to build a bigger community. We love you so much. We want you to be part of this community wherever you are all over the world. Support us. Join us. Let's succeed together. Let's make F1 greater, especially in Africa. We love you. Now, with the P1 here, we can see the true pace of Mercedes, the upgrades they brought, and how the upgrades are working. We would know if it is really worth it or not. And for other teams that brought B, teams like Ferrari, McLaren too brought their own beat. And quick one, McLaren is the most successful constructor in Monaco. They've had 15 wins. So, like I said, the Mercedes, they are in it, all or nothing. So they know what they're expecting and what they are not really expecting, because Monaco is not a place that you would really look at the quality of what you have or what you bring. The major thing is make sure you qualify on pole. When you are on pole, chances of you winning is about 80 to 85%, because they have less straight lines, lots of corners. It's one of the shortest, tightest, and I would say smallest and the most dangerous circuit. When you're driving in Monaco, you have to be 100% on your game, not 20%, not 99%, not 80%. And that is why we're seeing in Monaco a lot of accidents. And over the years, Charles Leclerc, the hometown boy, has always proven to be someone that kisses the wall. Ferrari team always, for the past 8 years, in one of the sessions of qualifying, will always a toast to the wall. It's always great. Team in red taste, a toast to the wall. Yeah. With the Mercedes team and their upgrade, George Russell and Lewis Hamilton in the first practice had to check the garage again to be sure what they are having is going to give them some pace, because the front end was great, the rear end was giving. They were unable to get their rear end, especially for George Russell. He had to make a rear suspension adjustment. Let me just say this now. The upgrades Mercedes have brought, from the way I'm looking at it, they would give them some pace, because that upgrade, especially the side pod, looks like something that would be able to give them the right downforce they need. But will the floor correlate with the side pod? Will the floor be able to hold the ground the way they wanted? Like I said in some other video cast or gist that we've had about the Mercedes, why the no pod philosophy is not working is majorly because of the floor. They've not really gotten the floor and the front wings that will work with that philosophy. They're coming in with new floors, new front wing. I think those front wings look sexy, and the side pod look gluey. They just need to make some little adjustment. I think they'll be very close, and forget about it. When Lewis Hamilton looks close, he's going to give it a fight. We can see in this race, even As was turning it up. We can see they're about 6/10 away from the Red Bull, unlike their qualifying and their practices in the last two races, in which sometimes it will turn up, next thing is a turn off. It's so funny, sometimes they will turn it up, the car itself will just turn it up, and another time the car itself will just turn it off. The car just give them different kind of crazy behaviors. During the race, the car may be so slow. That's why they have a competitive race pace. The car may start gluey, unresponsive, but when the car gets into the groove, just start going towards lap 20-21, the car comes into its own and drives well, beautifully well, and it's just all true. So with the George Russell reset of the suspension, Hamilton made some changes. He was able to come out, but he was still struggling all through the FP1. Verstappen struggled a lot. At the point, the team, he went to the garage. They had he was having a lot of bites on the walls, on the tire, on everything. So he had to on his car. He was not comfortable. He was complaining. So he had to change the rear ride height of the car. At the point, the team had to tell him to live with it all through the session. The Ferrari really looks pacey. They were trying to break all the rules, break the lines, make sure they are very impressive, especially with the Ferrari chairman coming to Monaco to see what the team is doing. I think the team is trying to impress, to show the man at the top that, hey, we got a lot to give. The Mercedes, all through, they were just leaning on their drivers, the driver's instinct. Mercedes really lent on the driver's instinct today. The McLaren gave it a fight. They were turning it on and off, and Lando Norris shining. But as Nico Hülkenberg, about 20 minutes towards the end of the first practice, sent everybody back into the garage with his accident. The front passenger side kissed and brushed and smooshed the lips of the wall, and that turned his rear, and it cost the red flag. The first red flag for the session, and the second red flag came in with Alex Albon's Williams. In turn one, he was unable to control the rear of the car, and the rear ramped into the wall, and he lost the front and the rear left side of the car. 3 minutes to go, and the practice was just ended under the red flag. In P2, 17 minutes into it, Ferrari's Carlos Sainz brought out a red flag. He waved the red flag so beautifully. 17 minutes into the practice, he decided to wave it himself, so we can all see how good he is waving a red flag when he ran his car into the wall as he missed the apex of turn 14 thereabouts. Both Ferrari really gave it a show. They pushed, but the king of the of the design, the king of the show, the king of dominance, the Red Bull, turn it up. They really turn it up with Max Verstappen after struggling in FP1, came up in FP2 and showed some dominance, and was able to come up with the P1 in FP2. The Mercedes showed they can be up and running. Still, the updates, I think they really need to understand the updates. Maybe when they get to Spain, which is not a street track, which has two good DRS zones, they should be able to see if those updates will really work. Are they really working? Or what would they need to add to those updates to turn them up and give the best they need? And the McLaren, Lando Norris was way pacey. Alpines never showed they were not in the ring. They were in the circuit, pushing laps, and their two drivers, Ocon and Gasly, turned it up, and they were showing their updates are paying off, and they just need to bring some little things. Like I told you, Monaco is not a place in which you bring updates to. That's why most of our other teams brought little bits for the aerodynamic to help them in the race, So the McLaren, in spite of the rumors that McLaren will be going for Red Bull powertrains, the McLaren team has signed a new deal with Mercedes after 2026. They will be staying with Mercedes after 2026. The only team that we think have not yet signed the deal is the Williams, and I don't see where the Williams will be going to, because Mercedes have been part of their genealogy. Mercedes have been part of their system for a very long time, so I think they might be staying with Mercedes. But Aston Martin, like I said earlier, they've pitched their tent with the Honda to challenge the Red Bull, which make the new rules, the new 2026 season for them a good one, because one of the issues they were having, the Mercedes powertrain was designed for Mercedes car. That was why they had to take a lot of the rear of the car to complement their car, to make their car what it is. And they took a lot of the rear for Mercedes, the transmission, and they had to adapt or build their car in a way that it would fit that engine, that Mercedes powertrain. But now, if they're going with Honda, they will be designing their chassis according to what they want to design it with the Honda team being able to be part of the construction of the car and the way the engine will fit in, their suspension, everything. So majorly they will be building most of the things themselves, unlike when they are with the Mercedes team, which was not really in favor of what they are doing. But I think McLaren have been with Mercedes for some time, and it will pay off for McLaren. Though Aston Martin, coming from Racing Point, Force India, they've already been using Mercedes engine, but I think it's a new challenge for them, bringing Honda back into Formula One. Alfa Romeo will not be using the Ferrari engine from 2026. Alfa Romeo will be using Audi engine, which is good for the German car Audi, still in the same competition with the Mercedes. And I think is not a win for BMW. BMW needs to find their way into Formula One and see how they can be one of the challengers and how their car can challenge. And let's see how their car will improve, their engines will improve, because as mechanics, see how the BM engines mess up in Nigeria, around West Africa, even in Europe. Any little problem you're having on a BMW engine, change it. And if you look around, there's only BMW engines that we have less tuners all around the world. We have less tuners. For Audi, you can get good tuners. Some of the Audi engines are even used in other racing and on a supercar that is made from Germany also. So they can be tuned, they can be worked on. Mercedes engine can be tuned, they can be worked on. And I think Formula One will bring the challenges, and they'll be able to weather the storm and grow. They'll be able to grow and get better and have a better engine, a more better culture, much more engineering, with the luxury in it, the balance being kept. Because BM have always told us their philosophy is engineering, not luxury. So I think they should come into the competition, find their way into the competition, as Audi has done, to compete with the likes of Ferrari, with the likes of Mercedes, with the likes of Alpine, with the likes of Audi coming in 2026. So it's going to be a fantastic idea, more creative sport, greater content. The passion will be more and higher passion, I think so. It's a nice thing for BM to come back into Formula One. There was a time they were in Formula One, so they can come back and let's see what we can do. And I think countries like Monaco and other countries will be able to find a way to expand their garage and see how it can be worked on, that we can have more teams, like 22 or 24 teams. Because for me, it's a good thing, though the team principals are complaining that it will be less money shared. Yeah, but for the fans, we need serious competitions, more battles, more fights, more competitors. We need something that is more jivey, and that is and when BM are able to see what they need to do to come to Formula One, I think that will be done, and that's going to be great. So tomorrow is when we would know where everyone's pace is actually for the FP3 and the qualifying. But we can see that the Ferrari still have their issues with it. Them quickly warming up the tires. I think Mercedes are having their rear tires littered up faster than the front tires. I think they will need to work on that, but Ferrari still need to work on why their rear tires are lighting up faster. They need to get that so that they can be so competitive in the race on Sunday and see how competitive they can be all through the year. So I think Ferrari needs to look into the way their tires light up faster so they can make more gains. As that being said, tomorrow we'll see where everybody's pace is, where they will line up, and probability we can start predicting who will win the race on Sunday. I think the weekend is going to be dry. Yesterday was wet in Monaco. We are looking at a dry weekend, but if rain comes, we hope it's not as heavy as last year's rain. The rain will change the dynamics, but if it is not as heavy as last year's rain, it's going to be beautiful. But if it's so heavy, they had to stop the race at the point last year. Let's see what it brings. Let's see what we can get. They were only able to run some laps, not up to the normal laps last year. So let's see what Sunday brings. But tomorrow we should be able to probably predict who will win the race and see how far we'll go in the race on Sunday. Still, we love you. Please subscribe, like, share. We beg you. Comment wherever you are all over the world in Africa. We love you. If you're a builder, if you're an art collector, if you have a showroom, Rated is the best place to get the artworks you need for your new buildings, for your art collections, for your showroom, for your exhibition. Rated Art have one of the best murals, mosaic works, and different art patterns in Nigeria presently. And it's somebody that you can communicate with, talks to you, you tell him what you want, and he will bring the reality out for you. To contact Rated Art, his number is right up here, and you can also go on social media links that are pasted right up here to check out some of his works. Thank you. Teams Gadget is for those of you that cannot easily go to the market to get your phones, your laptops, your accessories. Just place a call through. His phone number is there. It gets you the best. It's your shop plug to get you the best phones, accessories, laptops, games, and other accessories for your computer gaming experience. Contact Teams Gadget and you get them for you.